Hello everyone. We are going to look on examples now that we have introduced the methods of undetermined coefficients and it's used for solving non-homogeneous differential equations. So we want to see examples on how to tackle all those concepts that I earlier on introduced. So we are saying for you to solve for non-homogeneous differential equation using the methods of undetermined coefficients, we are saying the value of a general solution should behave as yc plus yp. Okay, but now how will you solve for this? Yc is just homogeneous, yp represents the non-homogeneity of this part. So we are saying our first step is to solve for yc. How will we solve for yc? It's easy. So we'll solve for yc by assuming the value, this value of g of x. Remember, the value of g of x here, the forcing function here is 3 e raised to negative t. Okay, so for you to solve for the value of c, you'll have to assume the value of g of x equals 0. So you'll have to model a very different second order differential equation, that y double prime minus 2y prime minus 3y equals 0. So that's your model. That's what we'll be working with. Okay, so let's compute this. So we are saying just normally, so let's get our y as e raised to mx. Okay, the normal way that we have been doing the introduction. Okay, so our y double prime should be m e raised to mx, and our, sorry, this should be y prime. So y double prime will be squared. So y prime should be m e raised to mx. So if I substitute back, I should get m squared e raised to mx minus 2m e raised to mx minus 3 e raised to mx equals 0. Okay, so if as I pull out e raised to mx, I should get m squared minus 2m minus 3 should give me 0. Okay, because this method will be long, okay, but we can just do it. So I'll get my auxiliary equation as m squared minus 2m minus 3 equals 0. So m value will be minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. If I compute this, I should get 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 4 minus, okay, so I'll minus 4, sorry, I'll minus 4 here, I'll minus 4 into 1 times negative 3 here, then divide that whole expression by 2. So if I perform that, I should get 2 plus or minus. Here we are saying this will go down to positive, so it will be 4 plus 12 will be 16. Okay, the square root of 16 is 4. Okay, so divided by 2. So I'll get my first value of m as either 3, and my second value of m as 2 minus this will go down to negative 1. Okay, so you can see these very distinct roots. So if you check cleanly to my videos, you're saying these are real roots. So you'll say your yc, okay, your complementary function to be c1 e raised to 3t plus c2 e raised to negative, sorry, it should be x, okay, should be x, don't interchange the symbols, should be x. So that's how we perform it. Okay, but we haven't cleared, we have already completed we have just completed the complementary function. Okay, now let's do the particular function. Now we said we'll check the forcing function. Okay, if the forcing function is an exponential, we said, So as you can see, this forcing function at this point is an exponential function. Okay. So how will we account for that? We are saying if it's an exponential function, my forcing function, I'll choose that to be a, okay, a multiplied by whatever is there. Okay. So we'll multiply a multiplied by, don't include this term. You see this constant term 3? No, don't include it. So it will be e raised to negative, sorry, what am I doing? I'll have to change this term here to be x. Okay, sorry, don't mind that. So this should be x for us to compute things right. So you'll write your forcing function to be a multiplied by e raised to negative x. Okay, don't write the constant term here 3. Don't include constant term 3. So because it's an exponential function, we have chosen our yp to be a e raised to t, negative t. Okay, but now there's a note that we said. We said if we compare the complementary function and the particular function, and we get any term in my particular function is similar to any term in my complementary function, we'll have to multiply that by the value of x. Okay, multiply that by the value of x till it overlaps. Okay, till the overlap goes. So because this is here, we'll say yp equal ax e raised to negative x. This will ensure the overlap is gone. Okay, so my particular function will be ax e raised to negative x. Okay, so how will we compute this? Ax multiplied by e raised to x. So our first step is to get my y prime of p. So what will be my y prime of p? As you can see, these are just two functions that are being multiplied together. So automatically we'll have to use product rule, okay? Because it's differentiation, we'll have to use product rule. So I'll keep this term constant, so I can pull out a, okay? I'll remain with x multiplied by e raised to negative x. So I'll do that. So once you have pulled out a, okay, now let's compute whatever is inside. So I will do compute whatever is inside. So we're saying keep x term constant, so it will be a multiply that by, keep the x term constant, okay, differentiate that term, so it will be e raised to negative x multiplied by the derivative of the argument, which is negative, sorry, not the argument, the power. So, and then I'll add that to, now keeping the exponential constant, e raised to negative x, and differentiating x, I'll get 1. Okay, so that's my answer there. So if I simplify these, I should get a into negative x e raised to negative x plus e raised to negative x. Okay, so this is what I have as my y prime of p. Okay, now as we continue, we are saying now get your y double prime. How will we get our y double prime? Our y double prime, it means we are now again differentiating whatever is inside. Okay, so how will we differentiate whatever is inside? So again, we can either open with the a or just simply let the a term outside, so it will be a into a larger bracket. Now what is inside here, okay, whatever is inside here is the product rule. Okay, so we'll have to compute this product rule, then we'll add that to the differential of this. So let's compute this. So I'll put negative x as my constant term, then I'll differentiate e raised to negative x multiplied by negative 1. Okay, then I'll add that to now keeping e raised to negative x as a constant term, while differentiating x, I should get negative 1. Okay, so that's what I have. Now I'll add that to the differential of this. So the differential of this is e raised to negative x multiplied by negative 1. So that's the whole expression that I'm having. So it will be equal to a into, so let's clean all these a bit. This will go down to positive, so it will be x e raised to negative of x. Then this negative will open this, so it will be negative e raised to negative x. And again, this negative will open this, will be negative e raised to negative x. Okay. Once you have gotten that, we are saying this will be my y p double prime. Okay. Now, once you have gotten a y p double prime, now you substitute back to the differential equation. So we are saying the differential equation is y double prime minus 2y minus 3 equal 3 e raised to negative of x. So that's what we'll be doing here. Okay. So we'll say if I open this bracket with the a, I'll say this is a x e raised to negative x minus a e raised to negative x minus a, okay, minus a e raised to negative x. And also, I want us to see something. I want us to keep in mind the change of signs, okay? It might cause us some problems. So, and also that's a direction to you, be keen. So here we have completed this part. So let's go minus of y prime, okay? So let's do minus 2. So let's include brackets. So it will be minus 2 of, okay? It will be minus 2 of y prime, sorry. So this y prime, if I can clean this a bit, I should get negative ax e raised to negative x plus a e raised to negative x. So that's my clean. So it will be negative ax. So it will be negative ax e raised to negative x plus, okay, plus a e raised to negative x. Okay, so that's what we have there. And then we're continuing with our problem. We are saying now input negative 3y. Okay, so we'll have to input negative 3y. So keep in mind the change of signs. Negative 3y. What is my y value? My y value is ax e raised to negative x. Okay. Okay, so it is ax e raised to negative x. I'll equate that to 3 e raised to negative x. That's whatever we have here. Remember, we were evaluating this, so just substitute back into the integral, everything the way they are. Now, let's get our answer. So let's open this bracket a bit. So it will be ax e raised to negative x minus e raised to negative x minus a e raised to negative x. This minus goes down to plus, so it will be plus 2a x e raised to negative x. This minus will go down this to be a minus, so it will be minus 2a e raised to negative x minus 3a x e raised to negative x should give me 3e raised to negative x. As you can see, if I had these powers here, so I'll get negative 2a e raised to x. And also here, I'll get negative 2a e raised to x. Okay, so simply is ax e raised to negative x. These, if I add these, okay, and also I add these, I'll get negative 4a e raised to negative x. Okay, so we are trying to simplify these. Now, here we are saying if we take these coefficients here, This is negative 3ax. This is negative 2ax. Okay. This is positive 2. So I'll remain, if I take these from these, I should remain with negative ax e raised to negative x. That's right. Okay. So I should get 3 e raised to negative x. So that's my answer there. Now let's continue. We are saying from this point we have ax here also, and we have an ax here also. Okay, so these will cancel with these. You see, it simplifies out nicely. So I'll get negative 4 a e raised to negative x should give me 3 e raised to negative x. So if I take these and take these, it cancels out clean. So I'll remain with a value equal negative 3 over 4. Okay. As you can see, the math cancels out beautifully. Now, this is my a value. Now, let's go back. What was our guess? Our guess was yp equals to ax e raised to negative x. Okay. So, we'll come here and say our guess yp equal ax, which is negative 3 over 4. That's the value of a, x e raised to negative x. That's our answer. Once you reach there, just complete your final answer as, how will you complete your final answer? My value of yx equal yp plus yc. That's our final answer. So let's just let's combine our answer. So it will be yx should equal our complementary function. What was our complementary function? C1 e raised to 3x, okay, plus C2 e raised to negative x. Okay, now that's the complementary function. Now let's add our particular function. So our particular function is this. So if you add it, it will be negative 3 over 4 x e raised to negative x. Now that's the beauty of math. Okay, so this is the beauty of mathematics. So that's what we have as our final answer. As you can see, it's a very nice, clean answer. If you're given an initial value problem or either boundary initial value problem or something, just compute the values of C and the values of C2. Okay, so that's all we have for this video. So please like, share, subscribe, and be keen. Okay, be keen. Have a lovely day.